Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. I just wanted to hop on because I have noticed over the weekend in our own home, maybe it's just me, but also out at our church and in our community that people are starting to wake up in the morning with stuffy noses and congested throats, and we all know that that means here in South Carolina, all of the irritants and allergens are starting to rear their ugly head with the beautiful, beautiful spring grass and flowers. So I wanted to equip you with what has meant the world to us in our home. Back before my essential oil journey, our kids just carried constant congestion, runny noses all the time. And so our pediatrician recommended doing seasonal medication for allergies. And, you know, the mommy instinct in me was, I really don't want to give them a medication every single day for 3 months, even if it's just once or twice a year. That's 6 months out of the year if it's twice, 2 seasons a year. So I was open to looking this one up, and I found that seasonal threats, allergen reactions are really easy to support with essential oils and not expensive at all. So I wanted to show you exactly what we do in our home because, let's be honest, I had to mix it up here this morning myself, so I figured I'd hop on and do it for you guys. This is our old one. We call it the seasonal blend because that's compliant. And so all that we're going to be putting in this is lemon, lavender, and peppermint essential oil. But as you can see, I don't have hardly any left from last year and the occasional times we'd pull it out over the winter. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my handy tool that came with some of my rollers, and I'm going to pop this top off so I can refill it. Okay. All right, so off goes my roller cap. What I do in our home, again, I'm working with pure oils, right? doTERRA oils only for this recommendation. I put 4 to 5 drops of each of these in a 5 milliliter for our family, but because there's a little bit in there, I'm just going to add 3 of each. And that's a great place to start. If you put 3 drops of each, lemon, lavender, and peppermint, in a 5 milliliter roller, that's going to be a great start. Then from there, you can choose to dilute it more, make it stronger, whatever you choose. All right, so here's my lemon essential oil first. 1, 2, 3. Next comes lavender. Lavender is going to calm those sinuses and that inflammation reaction. Lemon is going to purify. 1, 2, 3. And peppermint, which we know is fantastic for sinuses anyway. All right, so here's my peppermint. 1, 2, 3. Just as a side note, I have been doing a good bit of research regarding fungal infections or fungal overgrowth. I'm dealing with some candida, and the more I read about it, the more I realize how prevalent it is. A lot of us in high sugar, high grain societies were feeding the natural bacteria or the natural yeast, which is a fungus, in our system. And if you've taken any kind of birth control for long periods of time, or a steroid or an antibiotic, it throws off that balance between the bacteria and the fungal reaction. And so what I have noticed from cutting back on irritants and dealing with the candida I've got going on is that my sinuses are more open. Turns out that a lot of sinus reactions that don't respond to antibiotics, it's actually a fungal issue. And best news, now the nerdy part's over. Best news is all 3 of these, lemon, lavender, and peppermint, are shown effective against fungal irritants, different fungal strains. So between the 3, you're going to cover your bases if there's a long-term thing you're dealing with in your sinuses. All right, so do you see, though, how much is in there? It's, let's see, I would guess about 1/3 of the entire bottle, maybe a little bit less than that. That's a great place to start for kids if you know there's no allergy there. Some people recommend even less than that for children. Again, for us, I know that we're doing okay in terms of allergic reaction. And so I'm going to do this distribution. I've got my fractionated coconut oil. So I am going to fill the rest with fractionated coconut oil, and I'm done. And I'm done. All right, so say you have some serious hardcore allergy stuff, and this isn't enough. You can take each of these three internally. So I'll show you that in a second. But just know that if there are more persistent allergy issues, there are other options, and you're also welcome to ask me if this combination you think is too much or not enough. All right, so now that I've got this, how would I use it? On myself, I love, love, love to feel it right there on my sinuses. So I usually just put it right over my forehead and then on each sinus. And and I can immediately feel, I'm gonna have a tissue, y'all. I can immediately feel that. If it's too strong for your eyes or it irritates the skin of your face, then you might have either made it too strong or that's just not a good place for you to apply. So with kids, I do not apply it on their face. So what I do for my kids is I roll it right there on the back of their neck, just a little swipe before they walk out the door in the morning, and that works beautifully for them and their seasonal stuff. You can also put it on the feet. Turns out, I'm not going to show you guys my foot, but if this were my foot, right there above the toes, on the top of the foot, that is actually the nerve ending for the respiratory tract and the bronchial tube. So I would probably swipe the allergy blend right there on the top, although it's going to get through your system even if you put them on the bottom of your feet. So just get this oil blend on you. I would recommend at least once a day if you're a pretty consistent allergy sufferer, and you could do 2 or even 3 times a day. So that's totally up to you. Usually what I do is when I see the seasonal stuff coming on in one of my kids or in myself, I'll do it twice a day for 3 days, and then I'll maintain after that once a day. All right, so I mentioned you can take these 3 internally, right? You guys have seen me with my little veggie caps. Say you don't want to smell like peppermint, lavender, and lemon all day. It's a stronger smell, although I just love it. I think my kids smell so good this time of year when I use it on them. So what I would do is I would put 1 drop of my lemon, 1 drop of my lavender, and 1 drop of my peppermint right there in the cap. Now, if you have ever taken oils in a cap, you see all that airspace? Some people start to like burp it a little bit, and that's unpleasant for them. So what you can do is you can grab your coconut oil, and you can fill the cap with a little bit of the coconut oil. See if I can do this without making a mess. And that is going to weigh it down. It won't irritate your stomach, and you won't have that that like burping sensation that's coming back up in your throat. So I've got my veggie cap all ready to take. And so this would be a great way for people who are used to taking an allergy medication as part of their routine. Just have these sitting out and go ahead and snag them. doTERRA has made it really easy for you. They actually offer pre-mixed little gel caps. They're smaller than this, and you know they can just sit right out on your counter. This one will probably break down the veggie cellulose if you leave it sit overnight. But it's called Tri-Ease, T-R-I-E-A-S-E. It's $30 for a month's supply retail, and that's 60 caps if you took 2 a day. Or it's $22.50 wholesale. So again, that's a really inexpensive attempt at trying to find some relief and results with any kind of seasonal threats that you deal with. And I highly recommend it because I've seen it so effective in a number of homes. And so if you want to take it in a little veggie cap, that's the way to go. You could put it in a shot of water and drink it. It really doesn't taste that bad, but you know, it's up to you. And lastly, diffuse this combination. It makes your house smell fantastic. These 3 blend really well together. And so diffusing this in your space to kind of get rid of any kind of air funk or any kind of allergens in your home. If you have animals that cause allergic reaction, you could diffuse it in your house and try to keep that calm down. And so I hope you have lots of ideas for how to use lemon, lavender, and peppermint to help address your seasonal issues. And I hope that that this is something that's going to be really effective for you. So let me know if you run into any questions as you're trying them, and have fun. Have fun.